Task Force was formed really to commemorate the King holiday and to perpetuate his legacy in the community and educating people about what he stood for and to bring attention to those who walk into his shoes. And people have stepped up in many ways in this whole community. People have stepped up to support whenever it's necessary, to support diversity, to support justice, to support equality. And now is the time to honor some of those people again. Many of you probably know some of them because they're out there in the trenches. You can see them, you hear about them, and you know they're working hard to promote the issues related to justice and equality. But there are a number of people in this community and the surrounding area who work silently behind the scenes, and they work hard. And without them, all of the accomplishments that happen in our communities wouldn't really happen. And they are no less worthy than those that you can see and hear from on a regular basis. So today is the day that we take the time to celebrate them in the honor of Dr. Martin Luther King for all that they all do to promote justice and equality in our community. So, we're going to start with a beautiful rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, followed by Lift Every Voice and Sing, and that will both be sung by the beautiful, talented Rosemary Allen, who is the corresponding secretary of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force, Incorporated. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise highest the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope
present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Woo! Let us march on till victory is won. Woo!
My. Church is here. Thank you so much, Rosemary, for those very heartwarming renditions. Give her another round of applause, folks. And this occasion, in honor of Dr. King and his legacy, just wouldn't be set without a simple, beautiful invocation and prayer. And so to do that today, we are honored to have Dr. Janae Castleberry Stewart of the Empowerment Church. Dr. Stewart.
To our dear Heavenly Father and Almighty Everlasting God, thank you for your presence here today as we all gather to honor and celebrate the enduring legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as we remain so steadfastly grateful for his tireless hard work and dedication to justice, equality, love, humanity, and dignity. As we reflect upon Dr. King's lifelong goals, truth, and commitments, we are emboldened with grace and thanks as we see other individuals who have been deeply inspired by his legacy, vision, and courage. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we give you thanks for this day as we invoke your presence into this assembly, as we celebrate the strong warriors and people in our communities who have stood for justice, peace, equality, and goodwill in their steadfast commitment to empower and serve others. We ask your blessings upon this ceremony and all of the honorees who have been selected to receive their prestigious Martin Luther King Task Force Justice and Equality Awards. We pray and know, Lord, that during our time together today, your spirit of truth, love, mercy, and goodness will be manifested as we recognize and celebrate our honorees who have served and given themselves to you. Their work and dedication continues to promote the principles of justice, fairness, equality, dignity, safety, peace, compassion, and joy in our world. Dear God, as you guide this ceremony with your blessings and divine light, please give everyone here the strength, courage, and perseverance to stand up for what is right, the wisdom to seek truth, and the love to embrace all humanity with open hearts. May Dr. King's dream of unity and harmony guide our actions and thoughts every day as we all stay committed to be instruments of truth, peace, decency, and respect, promoting education, economic equality, and justice for all, while fostering love and understanding throughout our business and communities at large. Dear Lord, we give you thanks again for this day. and this opportunity to once again be in your presence as we become renewed, revitalized, and re-energized as we celebrate our honorees and all that you have done to lead us, guide us, and help us. As we have, Father God, have everlasting faith and trust in you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. We are certainly blessed today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to start our occasion with a welcome address from none other than our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated President, Farrah Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you. That is I. It is so good to see you all. Thank you for joining us on what is not a 20, 30-degree day where we're sitting here shivering and trying to get warm, but blessed to be in a place where we celebrate the MLK Task Force and MLK Day. Again, I am Farrah Glenn, the proud president of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force. And it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you as we honor these 22 amazing individuals for their dedication to justice and equality. A little over 65 years ago, on August 20th, 1959, in an address at the 34th Annual Convention of the National Bar Association, Dr. King said, "Human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. Today, we honor the sacrifice, suffering, and struggles of our dedicated honorees. I'm sure when you hear the bios of our honorees, you will be just as impressed as I am of their achievements. Thank you for joining us, and please enjoy your lunch."
Thank you, President Glenn. And now, someone who you all know, he really needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. This is a man that you all know because he's involved. He is the essence of community. You have a problem, you go in another city, you can't call your mayor. Most people around here probably have this mayor's cell phone. You have a problem, this mayor is proactive and then reactive both. If he didn't know about it before, he's gonna get your problem solved. He's a true leader. And you all know him as having worked in the school system for a number of years here in the city of Southfield before he ascended to the position of mayor. He fights. He fights for what's good and right for the city of Southfield. He fights for justice, and he fights for equality. And he does this every day without any need to pretend, because it's coming from his heart. It's who he is as a person. And so it is very befitting that he is here today to welcome you and give some greetings on behalf of the city of Southfield. So without further ado, we would like to welcome our mayor, Dr. Kenson Siver.
Well, good afternoon. What a great introduction. The last time I was introduced by Judge Langford Morris, she simply said, had me stand up and said, "Here's the guy that's been around for a long time." And you know, I own that. So greetings from the great city of Southfield. We are very pleased to have all of you here today, and again on behalf of our city council, our city administration, and myself. This is another wonderful occasion to highlight people that contribute and make community. I'm looking around and thinking, where has the time gone? It was 40 years ago, my former neighbor, Barbara Talley, called me and said, Ken, we want to push for a federal holiday to honor Dr. Martin Luther King. And she said, we're going to form a task force. And of course, we formed that task force and did our first peace walk in 1985 before it was a holiday. And since then, the Martin Luther King Task Force has really been focused on keeping the dream alive. And we can see great progress in many, many respects, but also we have those forces that want to take us back, and we're not going back. So I congratulate all of the honorees today, and it's quite a distinguished lineup. But I do want to point out one person who is stuck in traffic and can't be here. But there is a person that we're honoring today that is a behind-the-scenes person that keeps us all safe. And this is Justin Beck, our emergency management director. He's got the title emergency management director, but you hardly ever see him. Every time we do the Peace Walk, the Kimmy Horn Jazz Festival, any major event at the city, it's Justin who's making sure that we're all safe and protected. So I'm very pleased that the task force would select him for an honor, and you'll hear more about him later. So with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our Chief Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, if you didn't know why we are here, we're about to find out. We're about to learn a little bit about the purpose for this occasion and a little bit about the history of the Dr. Martin Luther King Task Force. And the lady that's going to tell us this is a tireless worker. You all know her, but maybe you don't, but you probably do. She works in front of the scenes, but a lot behind the scenes in just about every organization that I can think of. She recruits you. You don't have a choice. You have to participate if she asks you to do something. And she asked me to be here for this, and that's why I'm here today too. Dorothy Dean is really just the most awesome community servant I've known. She participates in everything. And she did the best thing you could ever think of in life, which was to have a book written in honor of President Obama that is placed at his historic Obama Presidential Library. That's where it's going to go. And it was all due to the vision of this one woman. And so these Justice Awards are also a part of her vision. And so without Dorothy, I dare say many of the folks that we hold near and dear just wouldn't be honored here today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dorothy Dean, Chair of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated Awards Committee.
Thank you, Judge Johnson, for that introduction. And I am so pleased to see so many of you here with us this afternoon, because we're here to honor people that you do not see a lot of times. It's a mixture. People you've seen that are out in the open, and when we recognize people like Senator Debbie Stabenow for all of her service. But as the mayor said, Justin Beck, Homeland Security, if you knew how much work he does behind the scenes, and I'm telling you, to this date, I've never heard a complaint. He's the one person I can say that I've never heard him complain about anything. When we ask for something, it's what can we do? You may not know that during the pandemic, when we did a food drive for people because of food insecurity, he helped us with the logistics and made sure that everything was there. Whatever we asked for, he was like, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. And, there is a caboose at the end of our walk every time we do a walk. And we've done it for the last 40 years from Hope Church to the Pavilion. he makes sure that everybody is safe, nobody gets hurt, and that walk occurs. So this is all about giving tribute to people who have done things. And that's why we call it our Justice and Equality Awards. So Dr. King was the inspiration for this, but you will hear about a lot of the different honorees because we felt it's so important to take the time and to recognize all of these individuals that have done some fantastic things, just as Dr. King did when he was alive. So without further ado, I am going to ask Patricia Talley to come forward because we have a message from Barbara Talley. She was not able to be here today. I don't know if you know that her husband is experiencing some health issues, but she does have a message that she wanted her daughter, Patricia Talley, to read so that we can feel her presence here today as well. Patricia?
Amen.
Thank you all. Again, my name is Patricia Talley, the firstborn daughter of Barbara Talley. She looks a lot like me, doesn't she? Yes. She's at home nursing my father. They will be married 75 years this Christmas Eve. All my life she's told me what to do, so I have her message, so she told me what to read. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be present with you today. I congratulate each of you for the work you have done to help create a just and inclusive society. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Please keep up the good work and encourage others to do so, especially our young people. I hope you will walk and attend our 40th Peace Walk and program on Monday, January 20th, 2025. Again, congratulations to all.
Thank you, Patricia.
The abolitionist movement gaining notoriety after escaping from slavery with his dazzling oratory and incisive anti-slavery writings. He wrote several autobiographies eloquently describing his experiences in slavery in his 1845 autobiography, which was entitled Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, which became influential in its support for abolition. He actively supported women's suffrage. He was the keynote speaker at the unveiling of the Emancipation Memorial in Washington's Lincoln Park, the dedication service. He referred to Lincoln as America's greatest president. So it's a high honor to receive this award. And our honoree is going to be introduced by Miss Vera Glenn, president of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated, and the honoree is none other than the Reverend Dr. B. Kevin Smalls, pastor of Hope United Methodist Church.
Reverend Dr. B. Kevin Smalls is senior pastor of Hope United Methodist Church here in Southfield. He preached his first Sunday morning sermon at age 17 at Ebenezer United Methodist Church in Washington, D.C. He earned a bachelor's degree in history from Clafton University and master of divinity degree at the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia. He holds a Doctor of Ministry degree from United Theological Seminary, where he focused on postmodern preaching to contemporary audiences, with an emphasis on hip-hop culture. He is the founder of the Young Adult Christian Cafe, the Off the Hook Bible Study for youngish adults. He has written published articles and periodicals and a book entitled Voices Crying Out in the Wilderness, Contemporary Theologies of Preaching, and was honorably mentioned in a book entitled Together for Good, Lessons from 55 Years of Marriage by Doctors Henry and Ella Mitchell, and the second and third volume of the Africana Worship Book. I am honored to present to my pastor, the Reverend Dr. B. Kevin Smalls, with the Frederick Douglass Equality Award.
Thank you so much. This is an extraordinary honor to be given anything in the name of Frederick Douglass, who, by the way, was an outstanding Methodist, but to be given anything in the name of Frederick Douglass is an extraordinary honor. My first oratory contest when I was a teenager, I did his speech, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." I lost that contest because I went over time. But today I win, and I thank God for you for this contribution to my own life and to my own journey. Thanks to the task force for all the work that you've put before the city these past 40+ years. We are grateful, we are striving, and of course, as you all know, we have work to do. Let us be busy in doing it. Thank you all so much. Thank you. I have to leave earlier today because I have a couple to put together in holy marriage. So thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you once again, Reverend Dr. B. Kevin Smalls. Our next award is entitled the President Abraham Lincoln Equality Award. Abraham Lincoln, as you all know, was the 16th President of the United States of America, serving from March of 1861 until he was assassinated in April of 1865. Lincoln led the United States through the Civil War, its bloodiest war and its greatest moral, constitution, and political crisis. He preserved the Union, abolished slavery, strengthened the national government. Awesome achievements. His Gettysburg Address of 1863 began an iconic statement of America's dedication to the principles of equal rights, liberty, and democracy. So, the recipient of this award is someone that you know well. You've known him in service since he was a teenager. You've known that he has always worked and had a vision for what's best and right for the community. You've known that he started his career working for Mayor Brenda Lawrence, learning the ropes. And she taught him well. And you know he was fearless. And he's very bright and absorbed all that knowledge and became your city council person. Didn't stop there, because when you're called to serve, you have to meet that call. And he went on to serve us in Lansing as our representative and then our state senator. And we know he's not done. Oh, okay. Jason Hoskins is going to give us a little bit more information about this award. It's got my name on it, but Jason made it. So Jason, come on up and read the biography. We have Jason Hoskins, our representative.
Thank you, Judge, and good afternoon, everybody. I could just go ahead and wrap it up. Just get right to it. It's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon, and a true privilege to be able to do this. I met Jeremy Moss. I met with him, started working with him around 10 years ago, and you could tell then that he was going to be a talented and dynamic leader to work with, and that is truly borne out. Some of the great things that we've been able to do together, the things that I've been able to see him do, making our communities safer and more inclusive for everybody here in the state with the expansion of the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, making sure that government is more accountable and transparent to you by all his work he's done, and doing financial disclosures and expanding our Freedom of Information Act to cover the legislature and the governor's office, and all the work he's been doing in the legislature right now to protect your right to vote. Because as the mayor kind of alluded to, there are people who are trying to stop us from doing that. There are people who are trying to take away your rights. And Jeremy Moss is acting as that safeguard right now in our state to make sure that you are able to hold your leaders accountable, that you are able to go out and exercise your rights to vote. And that's why it is such a privilege to be able to do this. On a personal note, Jeremy has been extremely supportive of me. When I worked for him, he was able to give me the space to be able to study for and take the bar exam, to be able to serve my community in a different capacity, running for and serving on the city council. And he supported me when I ran for this office, and also supported a lot of other people, very supportive of Kyra Harris Bowden when she was running for office. And I bring that up to say, Jeremy is one of the people in our community that really helps cultivate and support young Black leadership here. And I want to make sure that is noted, because we have a lot of people who do that in this room and in our community. And I want to make sure that Jeremy gets those props for doing that too here. And I've been so grateful to be able to know him. It's been a true pleasure to know him, a privilege to work with him, and an honor to be able to present this award to him. So, Senator Jeremy Moss.
I'll be brief so we can keep the program moving. I've been shouting for Kamala for a week in Chicago, so a little hoarse. And Tim Walz is, he says we'll sleep when we're dead. We are pushing that to the very limit. But it really was 20 years ago, when I was 18 years old, that I first became involved in our political community, as I was mentioned, for Brenda Lawrence, who really took me right out of high school and under her wing. And I'm thinking of these last 20 years active in this community, and what's the common thread here? I was a Michigan State student. I went down to, yep, go green. All right, I like that. I went down to New Orleans twice when I was a student on humanitarian aid following Katrina. I studied race relations abroad in South Africa, post-apartheid South Africa. Came back home and ran for the city council, state rep, state senate, and now very proud to both serve as president pro tem of the Michigan Senate and as the chair of the elections committee in the state senate. What's the common thread from Katrina to chairing the elections committee? Race relations, racial harmony, making sure we can all live together and support one another and provide for one another. And so to be here as a part of the MLK Awards, this is family. This is the heartbeat of the community in Southfield, and it's such an honor to be a proud part of it. Lastly, we are going to pass a Michigan Voting Rights Act here in the state Senate when we return to session in September, which is exciting. We can applaud for that. Mayor says we're not going back. We're not going to allow the Supreme Court to gut the Federal Rights Act, because we're going to back it up with a Michigan Voting Rights Act here in the state to make sure communities like ours always have protections to vote. So I'm proud of this work. I'm proud to be a part of it, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Senator Jeremy Moss.
Yes.
Wonderful guy. Our next award is entitled the Booker T. Washington Justice Award. So Booker T. Washington was an author, educator, and civil rights activist. He founded what is now known as Tuskegee University. As a young man, he worked his way through Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute, and attended college at Wayland Seminary. Now, in 1881, he was named as the first leader of the new Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, an institute for black higher education. He expanded the college, enlisting students in construction of buildings. Washington was a key proponent of African American business and one of the founders of the National Negro Business League. Now, he mobilized a nationwide coalition of middle-class blacks, church leaders, and white philanthropists and politicians with the goal of building the community's economic strength and pride by focusing on self-help and education. So, today's honoree will be State Representative Joseph Tate, Speaker of the House of Representatives. And to present this award is again State Representative Jason Hoskins from the Michigan House of Representatives.
All right, I'm back. And, you know, we are, the speaker, of course, would have loved to have been here, but he is currently in Lansing right now. As I am about to go, that's why I'm doing back-to-back, because we are trying to make sure, again, that all the great work that we've been doing in the legislature is not stripped away by this next election. And part of that is because of the fantastic leadership of Speaker Joe Tate. You know, I certainly can go through his bio and see that he has been quite a servant leader for our community, for our country, serving as a Marine, doing 2 tours in Afghanistan. He's actually a Southfield Lathrop grad. Yeah, little fact there. Went to Michigan State as well. Oh, all right. And it's done so much work in government, working for the city of Detroit, serving in the House of Representatives, and now serving as our first black speaker here in the state of Michigan. And yeah, y'all can clap for that. Look. And again, such a leader and pushing forward policies that have been transformative for the state. And working to make sure that we have record investments in education, making sure that students have free breakfast and lunch when they go to school, making sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure workers have the protections that they need, that businesses come to our state, they feel like they have all the resources and tools that they need, and he's empowered me to be able to help with that. Making sure that gun violence is a thing of the past in our state. Making sure that we are doing everything to protect women's autonomy. And making sure, working with Senator Moss, making sure we're doing everything to protect the right to vote here in the state. He has been somebody who I'm honored to call my friend as well. Somebody who I know is going places, because he too has been a dynamic leader in our state. We talk a lot about servant leadership, and there is a lot of servant leaders here in this room and in our communities who put community first before themselves. And Speaker Joe Tate is definitely one of those people. So it is my honor to accept this award on his behalf.
And our next award category is that of the Gandhi Humanitarian Award. So Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi employed nonviolent civil disobedience in the struggle for civil rights. Now, he organized peasants, farmers, and urban laborers to protest against excessive land taxes and discrimination. He led nationwide campaigns for easing poverty, expanding women's rights, building ethnic amity, and achieving self-rule. Gandhi's birthday is commemorated as a national holiday and worldwide as the International Day of Nonviolence. And I do believe that Dr. Martin Luther King took many of his nonviolent principles from Gandhi. So this is a great award, and the honoree is none other than the person you've heard about earlier, Justin Beck, Director of Homeland Security and Southfield Police Department. To present this award is Councilwoman Yolanda Haynes of the Southfield City Council, and I'm hearing that the mayor is going to be accepting on behalf of Justin Beck.
Thank you. I just want to say I think it's such an honor to recognize someone with such humility. It's great to have people to do such work and never be seen, but get the job done, and we need more people like that. Justin Beck is the Director of Homeland Security for the City of Southfield Police Department. Over the past 4 years, he was instrumental in planning and the execution of the first Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive for Justice and Food Drive. He provided logistical direction and staff to assure smooth operation of the Dr. MLK Food Drive each year since the pandemic. His staff continues to assure a secure and safe walk each year from Hope United Methodist Church to the Southfield Pavilion. He works with Southfield's dedicated emergency management program, serving the community at civic events with traffic and crew control. His team also assists with natural disaster preparation, education, and training. And here to accept his award on his behalf is none other than the mayor, Dr. Ken Cyber.
I've already spoken of how important Justin is to all of us, so I will, on Monday, I will confer this award to Justin and all of your thanks and appreciation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The U.S. Supreme Court affirmed in a related case that segregating Montgomery buses was unconstitutional. The recipient of this award is the Honorable Janet Jackson, Southfield City Clerk, and to present the award for her, was going to be the Honorable Nancy Quarles, but I think Miss Dorothy Dean will present the award.
I most certainly will. It is a great honor to be presenting to the Honorable Janet Jackson. You know, that name is very famous. As you know, Janet served 6 terms as our county commissioner before being elected to Southfield City Council Clerk. So, but as a commissioner, she was the Democratic Caucus Majority Vice Chair. She addressed social justice issues, driving policies and initiatives. And one thing that I know that she's worked very hard on was a SOAP program, Saving Our Adolescents. I mean, she works every year to make sure that we're helping young people get out of terrible situations, putting soap in hotels. They've actually saved some teenagers. So it is with great pride that I present to the Honorable Janet Jackson the Rosa Parks Courage Award.
Continue, but I'm truly grateful, honored, and just want to let you know it does begin with the small things. What Rosa Parks did, we know she was doing much more behind the scenes, but any small thing that you can do, multiply creates great things. So thank you.
I would also like to announce that each of our recipients this afternoon will also receive a certificate of special senatorial recognition from the United States Senator Gary Peters. And these certificates read,
This one says, presented to the Honorable Janet Jackson. Congratulations on your recognition at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated's 2024 Justice and Equality Award event. Thank you for your leadership in the fight for equality and the elimination of race-based discrimination. Gary Peters. So each of our honorees will be receiving this certificate today. So thank you again for all that you do for now the city of Southfield, Janet Jackson. Our next award will be, it'll be our Human Services Award. And this award, obviously, it speaks for itself. It is someone who has given greatly of themselves and their efforts and the service to humanity and to the community. And so we have a very special honoree. I know how hard he works, and you're going to hear a little bit more about him because he's a part of just about everything that goes on in this community, and so we really appreciate him. The honoree is Mr. Sharky Haddad. That's right. And to present the award will be the Honorable Liddy Taylor from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and read Sharky's bio, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about him. Sharky Haddad is the project manager with the Chaldean Chamber of Commerce and the Chaldean Community Foundation. He has previously worked with Southfield and Code Enforcement and as community liaison and with the West Bloomfield School District as diversity and community liaison. He attended Oakland County Community College and graduated from Oakland University with a political science Bachelor of Arts degree. He is the co-author of chapters in 2 books, Heir of Detroit, From Margin to Mainstream, Wayne State University Press, June 13, 2000, and The Sweetness of Freedom, Stories of Immigrants, MSU Press, October 21st, 2010. He is the co-founder of United We Walk of West Bloomfield and celebrating the MLK holiday in 1995. He campaigned to develop a Pebble Creek professional-sized soccer field in Southfield. He was a member of the University of Michigan delegation to Israel to train high school and teachers on cultural diversity and conflict resolution. He is actively engaged in the community and provides service to his fellow community members. This tells you about Sharky and what he did, but it doesn't tell you who he is. He's a personal friend of mine. When I met him a couple years or so ago, we just clicked. And we've been best friends ever since. And here's why. He puts God first, family, and then community, and then himself. It's my honor to introduce to you for the Human Services Award, my friend and brother, Sharky Haddad. Very well deserved. Each of our honorees says thank you from the bottom of their hearts. And so moving right along to our next honoree, we have the Excellence in Education Award. So that award also speaks for itself as well. So that's someone who promotes excellence in our educational system in the community. And the award recipient today is Southfield Public Schools Board of Trustee Yvette Ware-Duvall. And here to present the award and to tell us a little bit about her is Tracy Payne Tellis, from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated.
Hello, everyone. Again, this award is for the excellence in education for Yvette Well Duval. Is an elected member of the Southfield Board of Trustees. She is currently the Vice President of the Board of Trustees. For the last consecutive 5 years, she has provided linguistical support to the annual Peace Walk program for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force at Hope United Methodist Church. During the pandemic, she assisted with logistics for the vehicles in the task force Drive for Justice parade of over 250 vehicles leaving from Hope United Methodist Church throughout the community on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday celebration. Other years, she's assured setup in the gymnasium for the annual Peace Walk from the church to the Southfield Pavilion. Again, this award is for Yvette Ware Duval.
Well deserved. And so our next award is one that's kind of close to my heart because it has to do with someone that's involved in the law. The Thurgood Marshall Justice and Equality Award is going to be in honor of Thurgood Marshall, who was the grandson of a slave and denied admission to the University of Maryland Law School because he was black. He was accepted at the Howard University Law School, and then Mr. Marshall successfully sued the University of Maryland to admit a young African-American Amherst University graduate named Donald Gaines Murray. After amassing an impressive record of Supreme Court challenges to state-sponsored discrimination, including the landmark Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954, President John F. Kennedy appointed Thurgood Marshall to the U.S. Court of Appeals. He was later appointed to the United States Supreme Court. This is a very high honor because he has achieved the pinnacle in the field of law that anyone could. So our honoree has done that as well. I know her very well as a personal friend. When I got on the bench, she swore me in. She was the first African-American woman, African-American period, to serve on the Oakland County Circuit Court, and the first black woman to serve as a judge in the Oakland County court system. She served a number of years as a very well-respected judge on the Oakland County Circuit bench and became what we call the dean of the court. Denise Langford Morris is our recipient. And she was the first African-American, as I said, and first female dean of the bench, which was established in 1848. She's a former assistant Oakland County prosecutor, assistant United States attorney in the civil division, and private practitioner. She's presided over felony criminal and general civil cases and has been elected 5 times. She's the first African-American woman nominated by any party to run statewide for the Michigan Supreme Court, and is the first African-American to ever win a countywide judicial race. She was the 2020 Michigan Democratic Party Dr. Martin Luther King Legacy Awardee. Her portrait was unveiled at the UDM, that's University of Detroit Mercy, Law School in 2019 as the first woman and first person of color to receive such an honor. She is active within the community, and you all know that because you see her everywhere. She's a moderator, a speaker, and advisor to law students across the country. She does that and more. And we're so honored to have her here with us today to receive this award. Let's give a great round of applause for the Honorable Judge Denise Langford Morris. Well, we said, no one speaks, right? She got a favorite phrase. Well, if you give a judge or a lawyer a microphone, they'll take over. Okay, say one thing.
I don't even have a
couple of things to say. Thank you, Chief Judge Sheila Johnson. Isn't she doing a great job? Give her a I was the first nominated by any party to run for the Michigan Supreme Court. But I want you to remember 3 words. Kyra Harris Bolden. That's right. Vote for her, people to support her. We have to keep her on the Michigan Supreme Court. She's the first, and hopefully she won't be the last, but let's support her.
Now, you all may remember that we had Viola Louiso's daughters here several years ago speaking to the task force audience. And it was very compelling. Viola Louiso was a white woman. She helped organize Detroit protests, attended civil rights conferences, and worked with the NAACP. She traveled down to Selma, Alabama to work. She worked with volunteers transporting marchers, and she helped drive local marchers to colleges and back to their home. She was driving along Route 80 when a car tried to force her off the road, and that car had 4 Klan members in it. They pulled up alongside of her vehicle and shot her dead. Hit her twice in the head. She was killed instantly. Her funeral was held at Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic Church in Detroit. She lived in Detroit, not far from where I grew up. There were many prominent civil rights leaders there to pay their respects, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We in the city of Southfield have the honor to have her buried here in the Holy Sepulchre Cemetery off of 10 Mile Road. So, it's a very high honor that we lovingly bestow upon our Senator, the Honorable Debbie Stabenow, U.S. Senator, to be accepted by Terry Campbell of her office and to be presented by Farrah Glenn, President of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated.
Throughout her years in public service, U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow has blazed trails and opened doors for women and girls. Among her many firsts, she was the first woman elected to the United States Senate from Michigan. She continues to lead on public policy and improve the lives of people of Michigan and Americans across the country. Her leadership is characterized by an unrivaled work ethic, the ability to build bipartisan coalitions to get things done, and a commitment to public service that has set the standard for constituent service. Senator Stabenow helped write the Affordable Care Act and has passed major reforms to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. Her Bipartisan Excellence in Mental Health and Addiction Treatment Act is transforming the way we deliver high-quality community behavioral health services in America. Because of her leadership, we are now going to be funding healthcare above the neck the same as healthcare below the neck. From child nutrition to school-based health clinics to children's health care, Senator Stabenow is also a national leader on children's health. I am honored to present the Honorable Debbie Stabenow with the Viola Louiso Courage Award.
As you all know, Senator Stabenow was proudly representing that Michigan delegation at the Democratic Convention, and I believe she's probably in Lansing at our local state convention. So thank you, Ms. Campbell, for being here. The next award will be the John Lewis Good Trouble Justice Award. I know this is going to be 2020. He participated in the 1960 Nashville sit-ins, the Freedom Rides, and was chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. They call that SNCC. From 1963 to 1966, and he was one of the Big Six leaders of groups who organized the 1963 March on Washington, fulfilling many key roles in the civil rights movement and its actions to end legalized racial segregation in the United States. In 1965, Lewis led the first of 3 Selma to Montgomery marches across that Edmund Pettus Bridge, where
in an incident which became known as Bloody Sunday, state troopers and police attacked Lewis and all of the other marchers. So, this was a legacy event. This man has a huge legacy, and we are so proud to present this award to one of our own posthumously. And this is a great leader in and of himself locally here. Honorable Vincent Gregory, former Michigan State Senator. And to accept the award will be his wife, Yvonne Gregory, and to present it will be Rosemary Allen, corresponding secretary of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated.
I'm extremely excited about this award. It's talking about good trouble. All of us got a little good trouble in us. And Congressman John Lewis, he coined that phrase, good trouble. He also coined the phrase that we are not moving back, we are moving forward. So we heard that a whole lot this week. We are moving, not moving back. Say it with me. We are not moving back, but we're moving forward. All right, Vincent Gregory was a Michigan politician who represented the 11th Senate District in the Michigan Senate for 8 years. In 1968, he was drafted into the United States Marine Corps, where he was honorably discharged. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice. In 1973, he joined the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, attaining the rank of corporal and then detective. In 1983, he was elected vice president of the local 502 SEIU AFL-CIO union and served as president until 2000. In 2003, he retired from the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. He also served as an Oakland County Commissioner, and in 2023, Catalpa Oaks Park, which is in our lovely city of Southfield, honored him with a pavilion dedication in his name. Can we just all give a round of applause for the work that the Honorable Vincent Gregory did as our state senator? And to accept this award is his lovely wife, Mrs. Yvonne. I got this.
She got this.
His lovely wife is here, Miss Yvonne, and we love you so much. But to actually accept the award is his look-alike, looking just like his daddy, Tony Allen. Thank you, everybody.
And our next award will be for Businesswoman of the Year. I think that says it all. I don't really have to expound upon. You're in business, you've done wonderful, great things, and we're going to hear a little bit more about them. Our honoree today for Businesswoman of the Year is Ju Wang Page, Executive General Manager of Page Automotive, President of Page Family Foundation. To present the award, Barbara P. Selden, Financial Secretary of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated.
Thank you so much and good afternoon. I'm Barbara Selden, and I am not only the Financial Secretary, but I am responsible for the International Taste Fest that we have with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force. One of the things that I've always felt is that Dr. Martin Luther King has said that when he delivered his I Have a Dream speech, he said people of all creeds, of all colors, and of all backgrounds should be able to live in harmony and with equality. Because of that, we started looking at that International Peace Fest, and we started trying to get people to join MLK other than people of color like ourselves. And we were able to do this. So I am happy and pleased and just encouraged to present the award to Dr. Ju Wang. Now I consider her a hidden figure because we've given all kinds of names to all of these, but we haven't seen this wonderful person who has done so much for Dr. Martin Luther King. You can read her biography in the program, but I'm going to tell you a little bit what I know. She has what I call educational outreach. She's participated in programs aimed at promoting STEM, and that's really very important. She has what's called environmental initiatives. She has been involved in projects focused on sustainability and environmental conservation. She's also has had a lot to do with local communities. That means that she provides a lot of community support. She's volunteered with local organizations. She supported community development, and she aided those in need. But more than that, she has done more than enough as sponsor for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Taste Fest. And so I'm honored to provide that for her. Especially she's been actively involved with us. And I can count at least 10 years where she's given not only money, but time, people to come and serve with us, pastries throughout the hallway as we are providing the program, the peace program. So she's just done an awful lot. And I want to say that her legacy in advocating for nonviolence created positive social change. So I am honored to present to her, and she's not here today, at least I've not seen her, and I don't know if there's someone to represent her, but I will receive her award as the businesswoman of the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara Selden. And for all of you who weren't clear on this, Julian Page is the Executive General Manager for Page Automotive, which includes that Page Toyota that you know of down there on 8 Mile and near Telegraph and 8 Mile in Southfield. All right, and so our next honoree will be receiving the Diversity Award. Again, this award needs no introduction. This is somebody who has gone up and beyond and over in trying to promote diversity in the community in all of their works. And so our recipient for this award is going to be Nicole Chin. We're going to find out a little bit more about Ms. Chin from the presenter, Barbara Selden, again, Financial Secretary of the Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force.
Thank you so much. Again, you can take a look and read Ms. Chin's biography within the book that you have, but she's my friend. And I met her maybe 5 or 6 years ago. She walked up to me and she said, you know, I think I would like for my people to be a part of the Dr. Martin Luther King Task Force. She said to me that she believed in what Dr. Martin Luther King talked about in terms of equality and justice all over the world, not just for people of color, but for everyone. And what she did for us was she started something called the First Aid Foundation, and all of the students that she knew that were of Asian descent who were interested in medicine and dentistry, she started outreach programs for them. She knew that if they were going to be serving the health and welfare of people, they'd have to serve it for all people. So she came to me and she asked if I would bring them to the School of Dentistry, because that too is a helping profession, and allow them an opportunity to learn the kind of care that should be given to people orally as well as medically. So through her First Aid Foundation, we were able to bring students, not just from the city of Detroit, but from Troy, from all of the other areas around us. And she brought them into the school, and the first thing they had to learn was CPR. And I don't mean just regular, if you see somebody down, just press their chest. But they had to understand the differences between stroke, heart disease, and they had to actually practice healthcare CPR for the healthcare provider, so it is truly basic life support. We had an opportunity to bring her into the school. We had an opportunity to introduce her to all of the administrators there. And for the last 4 or 5 years, we have been making sure that they come into that school and learn what it's like, not just to help certain people, but all people. In addition to that, she made sure that they volunteer for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force. For the Taste Fest, she made sure that we had Asian food there, so that, because one of the best ways to get to know our different cultures is through their food. So she made sure not only did the student serve them, but she also brought in food like which they would eat. So she has been a member of our membership committee, and she has joined our organization, and she wants to continue to be a part of us, not for her sake, but the sake of the students, because they really need to know what Dr. Martin Luther King was all about. So I accept the award for Ms. Nicole Chen on behalf of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force.
Nelson Mandela Equality Award. As you know, President Mandela was a civil rights activist, the first black president of South Africa. President Mandela received the Nobel Peace Prize for his work towards dismantling apartheid. He's known for his campaign of peaceful, nonviolent defiance against racist policies of the South African government. He spent 27 years in prison for his anti-apartheid activities. So while in prison, he inspired other activists who are also working to overcome apartheid. While in prison, President Mandela earned a Bachelor's of Law degree through a University of London correspondence program. He used his legal training to provide free and low-cost legal counsel to unrepresented blacks. He used his term in office to bring about the transformation from minority rule to apartheid black majority rule. So, our recipient today is somebody that you know. He's just not a figurehead. He's really an integral part of this community and has created many programs in this community. And I'm proud to work with him on one of the programs that's coming up in October, so make sure you get out there, the Southfield Domestic Violence Walk. So our honoree is Chief of Police Elvin Berry.
Thank you and good afternoon again. Chief Barron is in a centerfold. Never been a centerfold. So please join me in the center of our program. I will just very quickly, because there are some other things I want to say. Chief Barron comes to us after 21, 22 years in Detroit. He was the deputy chief there. He has a master's degree from Bowling Green and a Bachelor of Science from Central Michigan. He also is a graduate of the FBI's program on Senior Management Institute and Leadership Center, anti-terrorism. He's a Navy vet of 8 years. We had a very special bonding experience. I knew that when Chief joined us in 2019, I had had surgery and wasn't there at that when he began. But I interviewed with him shortly after, and I said, we're going to get along very, very well. And that is very, very true. So skip ahead another year, and we had the murder of George Floyd. The chief and I, we had 20 demonstrations in the city of Southfield, all of them peaceful. The chief and I attended almost every single one. I think maybe he missed one, I missed one, but we were there. We were there in unity with the protesters. We had absolutely no violence. Our community policing officers joined us. And again, this is during COVID. And people said, oh, I don't know if you have these gatherings. And we said the community needs to emote. We need to express how we feel about this tragic event. And in the aftermath of that, the chief developed the duty to intervene policy. which has been widely copied, and he's been celebrated by the governor of Michigan for instituting this policy. No officer should stand by and watch as a fellow officer uses excessive force. Again, I've been here a long time, and I've worked with a lot of police chiefs. And I'm not going to, what I'm about to say, I'm not taking away from anybody in the past, but Alvin Barron is over the top. There were other chiefs that weren't very transparent. Chief Barron is extremely transparent. We hear from him all the time. Something happens, we know about it. Other chiefs did not live in the community. Chief Barron moved to Southfield. And also, one of the things that and not every chief did this, or in the past, he shows up to everything. I mean, we have a community event, there's the chief, and it's setting an example for his officers. Community policing is so important. We must, you can applaud that. Community policing is terribly important. Police officers are human beings, and it's about integrating yourself in the community. They're not to be feared, they are there to protect and support. And Chief Barron exemplifies that, well deserving of this award.
Chisholm Justice Award. Shirley Chisholm, of course, was the first African-American woman in Congress in 1968, and the first woman and African-American to seek the nomination for President of the United States. So what we're going through now was done by somebody before, and she was the one. She was from one of the two major political parties, and that was in 1972 when she sought that nomination. Her motto and title of her autobiography was Unfought and Unbossed. It illustrates her outspoken advocacy for women and minorities during her 7 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. She graduated from Brooklyn College cum laude in 1946 when she won prizes on the debate team. Although professors encouraged her to consider a political career, she replied that she faced a double handicap as both a black and a female. And then she went on to found the National Congress of Black Women, which we do have a chartered membership here in the city of Southfield. The honoree today is someone that I've known for a long time. I think she might have even done her very first jury trial in front of me. And it's really I'm honored to see how she has progressed from that wonderful young lawyer to the judge that she is today on the Oakland County Circuit Court, being the second African-American woman to serve there. And I think that we all have the duty to see our younger people and help them thrive to reach these type of heights like she has reached and will continue to reach, because her career is just really getting going. The honoree for the Shirley Chisholm, who is a member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, shamelessly plug that. And so is this honoree, and so am I, is the Honorable Kamisha Gant, Judge of the Oakland County Circuit Court. And I can't present the award because the Honorable Cynthia Stevens was going to do that, but her daughter went into labor, and we all know how important that is. So, Ms. Judge Gant was appointed to serve as the Circuit Court Judge in Oakland County by Gretchen Whitmer in April 30th, 2019. She's the 75th judge to serve on that court and the 3rd African-American judge in the history of that court, and the 2nd woman. She's currently assigned to the Family Division She graduated from the University of Michigan and Wayne State University Law School, and prior to her judicial appointment, she worked as a probation agent for the Michigan Department of Corrections, a judicial court clerk for 2 judges of the Sixth Circuit Court, and a judicial intern at the Theodore 11 U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. She was also a consultant for Neighborhood Legal Services of Michigan's Children's Justice Center, and she had her own general practice firm, Gant Law, PLLC, for 13 years. I'm so proud, so honored to give this well-deserved Shirley Chisholm Justice Award to Judge Honorable Kamisha Gant. Okay, it's the Sojourner Truth Award. And this is Sojourner Truth, as you all know, is an African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist. Born into slavery in New York, she escaped with her infant daughter to freedom in 1826. After going to court to recover her son, she became the first black woman to win such a case against a white man. She gave herself the name Sojourner Truth in 1843. Her best-known extemporaneous speech on gender equalities is "Ain't I a Woman?", which was delivered in 1851 at the Ohio Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio. During the Civil War, Truth helped recruit black troops for the Union Army, and she spoke about abolition, women's rights, prison reform, and preached to the Michigan legislature against capital punishment. Our honoree today is a very well-known in legal circles attorney who does all of those things, fights for justice, very well-known. She's a community servant. Our award winner is Robin McCoy, Esquire. To present the award is Delisha Taylor Coleman, President of the Black Women Lawyers Association of Michigan.
Thank you, and thank all of you from this organization. It is a pleasure to present, especially to this amazing young woman. I've known her for a number of years in the Wayne County criminal area, where she did juvenile and circuit court or felony matters, misdemeanor matters, covering it all. But Robin L. McCoy is an educator and attorney, partner at McCoy & Associates PLLC. She earned a degree in anthropology from the University of Chicago and obtained her Juris Doctorate from the University of Michigan Law School. She was a page for the U.S. Congressman, William D. Ford in Washington, D.C., and interned with U.S. Senator Carol Mosley Braun in Chicago. She attended the University of Chicago and co-founded an academic support network for Black women, Sister Friends, and was the Umoja Cultural Chair for the Organization of Black Students. She tutored elementary students in the public school system and was mentored by our very own First Lady, Michelle Obama, during her senior year at the University of Chicago. At the University of Michigan Law School, she was the Political Action Chair for the Native American and Black Law Students Alliance, handling community, civic, and political meetings, debates, and protests in support of affirmative action. I've known Robin for a number of years, as I stated. She is an active member in every organization in the community that she turns her amazing eye to. She's an active chair in the National Bar Association, moderating, being a panelist, and a number of awards, and this too is a blessing to be able to give, and I congratulate Robin. Oh, and she was just the most recent past president of Black Women Lawyers Association.
To be the Harriet Tubman Courage Award. As you know, she was an American bondwoman who escaped from slavery in the South to become a leading abolitionist before the Civil War. She was born in Maryland in 1820 and successfully escaped in 1849. She returned many times, literally hundreds of times, to rescue both family members and non-relatives from the plantation system. She led hundreds to freedom in the North as the most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad, an elaborate secret network of safe houses organized just for that purpose. The honoree today is another sorority sister of mine, and you also know her because she's been active in community events as well as supportive in the Obama campaign. She worked in that campaign in President Obama's regime. None other than Portia Roberson, president of Detroit Focus Hope, is our honoree today, and the award will be presented again by Delisha Taylor Coleman from the Black Women Lawyers. And since she's not here, we're just going to refer you down to her bio and take a quick photo. This is the President Vicente Guerrero Justice and Equality Award. Vicente Guerrero was one of the leading revolutionary generals of the Mexican War and fought against Spain for independence in the early 19th century and later served as President of Mexico. He was elected the second President of Mexico in 1829 and went on to champion the cause of racially oppressed and the economically oppressed. So, his most notable achievement was the abolition of slavery in September 16, 1829, and the emancipation of slaves. So, the state of Guerrero is named in his honor. The honoree today is Dr. Candelario Donahue Mendez Tello, president of the Mexican Negro AC. She is not present today, but to accept her award is Dr. Patricia Ann Talley from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force.
Not too bad with that pronunciation. Vicente Guerrero, and I'm very honored to talk about Dr. Candelaria Donahue Mendez Taylor, who received her advanced degrees from the Universidad Autónoma de Guerrero and is now the new dean of our Tourism and Business School in Zihuatanejo, where I'm an adjunct professor of international business. She is an author, a lecturer, and social activist, and it is an example of Mexico's racial diversity. Many do not know that during colonial times, Africans outnumbered the Spanish by 3 to 1 in Mexico. She is a founding member of Mexico Negro Association Civil, one of the leading civil rights organizations in the country. And I'm so proud to announce that just last week, she received an award from the President of Mexico for her outstanding contributions to civil rights of Afro-Mexican women. In November, she will host the 25th annual meeting of the Black Towns of Mexico. She is my hero, my good friend, and after being at the head of these national conventions, she comes to my house and she mopped my floor because she said I'm usually. She has been a joy in my life, and it is my great honor to accept this award. The next award that we will be presenting is the Ida B. Wells Social Justice Award. Ida B. Wells, being a teacher and accustomed to riding the train in whatever seat she wanted to, she sued the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad because they forbade her from sitting in the ladies' coach, and subsequently wrote an article about the experience when she became a journalist. As injustices against former slaves raged throughout the South and a region of terror began, she used her pen to expose the motives behind the violence. She wrote about lynchings with clarity and forcefulness that riveted the attention of both blacks and whites. She advocated for both an economic boycott and a mass exodus. She was relentless in the fight for social justice and active in the suffragist movement, and became one of the founding members of the NAACP. Our award recipient today is very worthy, and also a soror of mine from Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I know there's a lot of Deltas, so there's some AKs in here that do good works too. The honoree today is Elizabeth Whitaker Walker, community activist, and presenting this award is going to be Sharita Watson, second vice president of the Martin Luther King Jr. Task Force Incorporated.
Elizabeth Whitaker Walker, the founder of the Raymond Whitaker Design LLC, as a consulting firm committed to equality, leadership, and organizational development. She is known internationally for strategic and principled approach to leadership, coaching, institutional design, and facilitation. She has trained policy leaders, organized school leaders, philanthropists, political candidates, and more. She has designed and implemented hundreds of programs, workshops, training across the nation. Her work has been expanded globally as she has led social justice democracy projects in West Africa, Southeastern Asia, Europe. She began her education career as a teacher, curriculum designer, and later a school principal. In 2017, Elizabeth was named a Bradford Next Gen Fellow, joining a cohort of 24 leaders across the nation, recognizing their expansionary contributions and commitment to providing equality in business public education. She is a graduate of Northwestern University and is a teacher for the American St. Louis alum. I present you the I.P. Wells Social Justice Award.
The Humanitarian Award. All right. And so this award speaks for itself, as the name, humanitarian. And this is somebody who's excelled in all of the humanitarian efforts in the community. The honoree today will be Ida Cunningham, and this will be presented by Dorothy J. Dean, Esquire, who's on the advisory board of directors and is the committee chair for this meeting.
Thank you. And I am so proud to be presenting the Humanitarian Award to Ida Cunningham. She is an active member of the task force. She works on the Education Committee and Peace Walk Program Committee. She's chair of our Bylaws Committee, Policies, Procedures. She is a retired teacher from the Detroit Public Schools. But what's so important here is that for the past 3 consecutive years, she has chaired the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Food Drive, paying special attention to the needs of the community since the food insecurity issue during the pandemic. She volunteers with her church as well in its food pantry to provide food to the community on a weekly basis. Her service to the community has had a profound impact on the community. She is an active member of the new Metropolitan Detroit Club of Negro and Business Professional Women, having served most recently as its vice president. I am so honored to present this award to my fellow MLK member, Ida Cunningham.
And we have several other awards, and our recipients are not present today. So we want to direct you to our booklet to get a full description of who they are and what they have done. And so I would direct you for Derek Ware, and he is not present, but will be receiving the W.E.B. Du Bois Justice Award. He is a community activist. I will also direct you to Randy Scott. Many of you know him as a musician and a teacher, and he's not here because he's performing in concert, and so his whole family is with him. And Mr. Scott will also be receiving it's the Arts and Entertainment Award, appropriately so. And we also want to direct you to Justice Kyra Harris Bolden. And I just want to say that you need to just remember the name, as Judge Langford Moore said. She is the first African-American woman on the Michigan Supreme Court. She was also a mentee of mine. She worked on my campaign when I was a nominee also for the Michigan Supreme Court. She's a hard worker. I got her first job in the law. I married her. I know who she is, and she is worthy of this position. And she's working hard for justice for all of us.
votes in this election. And she cannot, we really do appreciate all that she has done for us. So to Barbara Selden. Okay. Pardon? Okay, it's got to be 1 minute because we got to get out of here.
I'm just a worker bee.
Oh, okay. Let's give her a hand for that. Okay. And I did want to give a special thanks to our table sponsors.